You know, 50% of chess games reach the endgame phase. Well, today I'm going to be helping you destroy your opponents during these most common endgames. First, the king and rook versus king. So, this concept is very, very simple. For starters, you have to trap your opponent's king in the corner of the board. And to do that, you first take your rook. Seeing as our rook is being threatened, we move it to the other end of the board, where it will take black a long time to threaten it again. Black moves to threaten it. Now we have to bring in our king, because the main thing in king and rook endgames is opposition. Okay, so king b2, king c5. Now, we don't want to immediately take opposition with king c3, because then black king moves and we lose our opposition. So instead, we go king to b3. And if king b5, then we move our rook back. And now we're threatening to push the king back to the third rank. So that's what happens. And black king moves. And now, instead of moving our king for opposition, we move the rook. We can move the rook to any one of these few squares, because now the black king is either forced to b5, which is what you'll most likely see, because when you're trying to trap your opponent, they're trying to resist, so they won't likely go to the 6th or 3rd rank. So king b5, and now you can go check, because all three of these squares are blocked by the white king, and these two squares are blocked by the rook, so the king is forced to go down. Doesn't really matter where he goes. Let's say he goes for the rook, then we start chasing him, king c4, he goes for the rook. Now this time, we don't continue chasing, we move our rook back to a5, because now, eventually, we'll be able to catch up with the black king. If immediately he goes c6, then we have rook a6 check, and we'll push him down. And if he starts running, we'll chase him, and the second he goes back, we go check. Eventually, he'll be forced to go back when you get all the way to the H file, and you will be able to push him back. This same concept goes on for the rest of the game. These three squares are blocked, and these two squares are blocked by the rook, so the king is forced down. We bring our king, he's forced there, check, down, we bring our king there, and now we move our rook. And now if he goes king f8, it's immediately checkmate. And if he goes king d8, then like before, we keep chasing him. And the second the black king takes opposition, we immediately have checkmate, and eventually we will be able to force this, and that's how you win with just a king and a rook to a king. Now, a king and two bishops versus a king is also a winnable position if you know what you're doing. So, in this endgame, the concept is also the same as king and rook. You have to trap the black king, or whichever king you're playing, into the corner. So this is very pretty easily done. We have to just make sure that the black king can never escape and just keep pushing him back. So in this position, likely that the best move would be something like king to b4, and the black king is forced back here. He cannot come forward. So let's say he goes to c6 to threaten our bishop. We very simply just move, and he moves back. Now we are able to go check, forcing the black king backwards, and this concept basically just keeps going until we have the black king in the corner. We keep coming with our king. Something you do want to watch out for, though, is stalemate. So he comes up. We continue to bring our king, and he goes to f4. Now we bring our bishop, and the king is yet again forced closer to the side of the board. So let's say he goes there. then we are not able to go check, even though that's what you think to do at first. Instead, you just go. Instead, you just go there, and the black king is sorry. Instead, you take the opposition, forcing the black king closer to what you're gonna call the corner. We go there, and the black king is either forced to the side of the board or to g5. So presumably he's going to go to g5. He's not trying to get himself trapped, and he does not want to get trapped either. So we bring our king to f3. No, sorry. We bring the bishop down. We are not letting the king escape to the third file. And now the king is forced to g4 unless he wants to go to the side of the board, which I highly doubt you will ever encounter. Now we are able to actually force the king down to the h file with bishop f4, and the king goes, let's say, h4, trying to stay in the middle of the back rank. And now we have to make sure we cannot let the king off the back rank. So in order to stop the king from going back to g4, we can go bishop to f5, and the king is forced to h5. In this position, you really have to be careful with stalemate, because it is very possible that it will happen, and you really have to watch out. King f3, king back to h4, and now I know you're thinking, well, we can go bishop g4, but that is actually stalemate, and therefore we cannot play it. So instead, we go bishop to g6, forcing the black king closer to the h1 corner. Now we can go bishop g5, yet again forcing the black king closer to the h1 corner. Now is where you really have to watch out about stalemate. Now we play the move bishop to f5, fully forcing the black king into, we play king f2, and the king goes back. Now, we are actually able to play check because the king cannot go to the g file. He is forced to stay to the side of the board. Okay, now that there's opposition, we are yet again able to go check. King is forced to h1, and bishop e4, checkmate, and that is how you win with two bishops. Last and final position is king and pawn versus king. This is black to move. Now, in this position, you must have opposition for yourself. In the past two positions, it didn't really matter who had opposition, but in this position, you must have opposition yourself. So now there's three options that the black king can do. Obviously, there's more than three options. Sorry, I put it for white to move. Obviously, there's more than three options for white to do. And so for black to do, but he probably won't move back. So let's say he moves forward. If he goes to b6, we immediately take the opposition with king to b4, and then we have opposition. We can easily win the game. And I'll show you that later, or I guess now. Then king either. If king to a6, we are very easily able to go to c5, and it'll be impossible for him to stop our pawn, even through his best efforts. Sorry, we don't push there. After that, we go there. He goes there. We go there, he goes there, we go there, and now our pawn is fully unstoppable. We'll be able to advance it. Now let's go back to the starting position. Instead of b6, let's say he goes c6. We are also able to take the opposition immediately. And now wherever black king goes, if he goes down, then we go with him. If he goes down that way, we keep the opposition. And obviously also if he goes down that way, we keep the opposition. So if he goes to whichever side he goes to, you go to the opposite side. Now it's fine if he gets the opposition, because we are easily able to just push, and there is nothing the black king can do about it. We will win this game, and once you promote, you just use the same technique as before, um, to be able to win with just a king and a queen. It's the same thing as with a king and a rook, and it should be fairly easy. So now I believe that covers everything. Just take opposition, and thank you for watching. Make sure to come back next time for other endgame tips. Put in the comments below what kind of endgames you want to see. Maybe defense from king and a pawn, or defense from king and a rook. And yeah, so subscribe.